Hello everyone. We all think of so many things in life on a daily basis. We do form a picture of the same in our mind. Well, that's visualization. A visualization is a drawing created by hand or digitally showing what something will look like when created. It is also talking about the pictures to understand what's happening in the story. Well, let's see different types of visualization. One is creative visualization, which is a mental technique that uses imagination, mental images, and the power of thoughts. And the second type of visualization is data visualization, where the data is represented in a graph, chart, or visual form, as you can see here. The data is presented in different forms for an effortless and meaningful interpretation. When we read books, we relate to the characters, events, or situations and start visualizing them. What is visualized by one is presented on the screen in a movie. Well, do you prefer watching movies to reading books? The answer to my question is in visual form that tells that a movie is a small part of a bigger iceberg that is visible. What needs to be understood is beyond that. Let's see the advantages of visualization technique. Well, visualization improves reading comprehension. It helps readers create mental images of what they are reading. It helps readers better recall the main ideas of the story being read. It helps readers better remember details within a text. It makes a text more meaningful and memorable. Well, there is a poem written by William Shakespeare called The Seven Ages. If that poem needs to be understood at a lightning speed, all the seven stages or parts of our life on the world stage can be depicted creatively for quick visualization. As you can see on the screen, there are seven stages, seven roles or seven parts a person has to play on the world stage. The first being the infant stage, where the infant is completely dependent on his mother and always mewling and puking. The second stage is the childhood, where a young lad goes to school unwillingly and is always whining. The third stage is the lover stage, where the person is deeply in love with the other person. The fourth stage is the soldier stage. Well, the person need not be a soldier, but it is a stage where the person wants to prove what he can do, and he wants to prove his mettle to the world the way the soldier wants to die and lay down his life for the sake of his country. The next stage is the justice. The person may not be a judge, a lawyer or an advocate, but in this stage, the person tends to be wise, who has seen a lot of life and has experience and does share words of wisdom with other people. The next stage is the old age, where a person loses um, his teeth, loses eyesight, has hearing issues, is weak. And the last stage is that stage where the person is extremely old and is on the verge of dying. So I think this is the best way of presenting the poem, and the children will remember the poem without forgetting the sequence of the stages. Sometimes when a lot of information is at our disposal in a piece of content, it can be simplified using a tool called story wheel, where the major events are creatively drawn in each pie of the wheel. To put it in a nutshell, it is the visual summary of a huge content in comprehensible parts. It can be used for long stories. As you can see on the screen, one of my students has creatively presented the story in parts using picture. Because the student is good at drawing, he has used that skill. The story can be written also in a pie, in each pie that forms the whole wheel of a story. One more tool of visualization is the gallery, where images correspond to each piece of information. The given example has images that correspond to the growth of a cactus plant. One more example of gallery images is the life of Albert Einstein. This is just one of the examples. It's quite easy to visualize and remember about a person. Gallery image can be applied to depict the chronology of events in a person's life. As you can see, the chronological events in the life of Nelson Mandela. Because when we are understanding and reading about a person, it is quite difficult for us to remember what happened when in that person's life. So visual depiction of those events in a chronological sequence is good for revision too. There is a famous poem written by Robert Frost, and that is called The Road Not Taken. In this poem, a lot of imagery is used. When we recite the poem aloud, those imageries can be visualized. For example, a yellow wood. We can visualize a thick forest which is yellow in color because it's autumn and the leaves are yellow. Wood refers to forest. The undergrowth. The undergrowth are the wild bushes. Grassy, we can visualize the grass and whatnot. Lay in leaves. The tool of visualization can be used to enhance one's comprehension skills too. Showing the picture of a fork, the divergence of two roads can be visualized in The Road Not Taken. Now these images can be used to describe a spider as big as a plate, the size of our heart to the size of our fist, and how two paths diverge in two different directions. So this is how the tool of visualization can be used or wherever needed. It is quite an effective tool, and it's worth applying that whenever the need arises. Thank you.